step back. Kemba Walker giving Boston the lead. Into traffic, got it, and one. Jimmy Butler delivering. Can they get it done at the defensive end? Blocked at the rim by Bam.
Not in my house.
The Heat win game one.
That's why he's the heart and soul of our team, right there.
Yeah, the resistance was strong by Bam. Game 2 of these finals, East Finals, Thursday on ESPN regular. Game 1, the Heat improved to 4-0 as underdogs this postseason. Only the 99 Spurs and 2001 Lakers have gone unbeaten as underdogs the last 30 postseasons. They both won it all. Jason Tatum been on fire. 25, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 straight. If he does it again, he'll join LeBron, Kareem, and Giannis as the only players to do it in 4 straight playoff games. That won't matter if the Celtics lose. Heat 14-0 went up 2-0 in a best-of-7. Boston has only overcome that deficit twice in franchise history. We got reports from both teams. Start with Rachel in the Heat.
So usually the idea is that you lean on the players with postseason experience on your team because they know how to win in pressure situations, and the Heat certainly have that. But on Wednesday, Coach Eric Spoelstra stressed that having veterans like Jimmy Butler, Andre Iguodala, Udonis Haslem, and Jay Crowder was just as important for the playoff bitterness that they've tasted as well. To put it simply, they know what it's like to lose, and they're keeping the team's younger players from getting too high on their opening Game 1 win over the Celtics. Not that Spoelstra thinks anyone is going to get too complacent, considering that for a large part of Game 1, it was Boston that was winning. As Spoelstra so delicately phrased it, quote, "They were kicking our butts." Well, he didn't say butts, but you can fill in the blank there yourself. He told reporters he was prepping his team to expect an even tougher fight from Boston on Thursday. Good thing he has all that experienced personnel to be ready for it. Now let's go over to Malika Andrews for the latest on the Celtics.
Thanks, Rachel. The Celtics are just looking to improve on Game 1. Jaylen Brown said that game just was not a good example of Celtics basketball. And Brad Stevens agreed. He said that he felt the offense just got a little bit stagnant, and then that bled over into their transition defense, which is usually where they're really good. So that's where he's hoping that they can tighten in the screws just a little bit in Game 2. But Brad Stevens said that at the end of the day, you can, quote, spin it however you want to. We just need to play better basketball.
Sports Center on the road.
I play smart. We gotta play good.
Well, we got down. How many teams were here? 22. How many are left, fellas? And at midnight tonight, it's gonna be 4.
Denver playing with such confidence right now. Jokic, he's got himself a triple-double here in Game 7.
I am absolutely shocked. Give this Denver Nuggets team a lot of credit. Him taking the fight away from the Clippers.
They are the comeback kids from Colorado.
That hurts. It hurts, but we move on.
Still saying, wow, Ryan, the Clippers season ended in a thud, and no one expected it would happen, featuring the struggles of Kawhi's efficiency decline late in playoff games. The opposite of what we've seen in the past. In the regular season, Kawhi ranks 6th among qualified mid-range shooters in fourth quarter field goal percentage. He saw a double-digit drop on such shots in the playoffs, and the big disappointment happening from him in PG-13 in the fourth quarter last night. It was a comeback for the Nuggets and a stunning collapse for the Clippers. For more, the Jump host Rachel Nichols joining us live here on SportsCenter. Rachel, you were at the game last night. What was the vibe like with the Clippers once the game ended?
Well, they just appeared stunned, which is how they looked for the entire fourth quarter, and that's a problem. Look, losing is not a sin, right? If you go out and put yourself out there and compete, you are going to lose sometimes. There's that famous Michael Jordan quote about all the times he's failed, all the game-winning shots he's missed, and he said, because I fail, that is why I succeed. So failing and losing, not the reason people are just so overwhelmingly disappointed in the Clippers today. It is the way they lost, not showing any fight, being able to watch this Denver team, which is a very good team, by the way. They didn't just get lucky. It's not like they just happened to be on the court when the Clippers collapsed. But the Clippers didn't fight back. And watching them do that time after time after time in these games is something that even within the team, they seemed stunned and confused about. You heard Lou Williams say, this team had the talent. He said, we didn't have the chemistry. We never had it. Doc Rivers said, we didn't have the trust. That is a problem with a team that was a championship favorite, that was trying to make it into the conference finals.
No sense of urgency, you could say, in the second half of these final 3 games. And this is the 3rd time a Doc Rivers-led team has lost the series, went up 3-1. And he's the only NBA coach to experience that scenario 3 times. He took responsibility for the shocking exit here, Rachel. What can you tell us about his future with the Clippers moving forward?
Yeah, he did take responsibility, not just to the media, but actually to the team. I'm told that inside the locker room, Doc Rivers walked in and he said, "You can put this all on me, guys. Feel free to go out and tell the press it's my fault." Of course, the guys clapped back at that. They took responsibility for themselves and did not want Doc taking the blame. I personally have a little bit of an issue with the stat people keep throwing out about 3 times 3-1. Of course, it's completely accurate. But there are some particulars here. First of all, Doc Rivers has been coaching for basically 20 years. So eventually you will add a bunch of different things to your resume, including, by the way, champion. So that's on there too. But also, if you look at that first time that he coughed up a 3-1 lead, that was with an Orlando team that was an 8th seed playing a 1 seed. They were never supposed to win that series. So I just think that we have to be a little bit careful when we throw these numbers out. It's been reported today that Doc Rivers' future with the Clippers is safe, and that certainly makes sense to me. I think he's an integral part of this team and the way the front office operates, and is an extension of them. And I also think that Kawhi Leonard largely came to the Clippers to play for Doc Rivers. So I don't expect him to go anywhere, but I do expect the front office to take a hard look at everyone on that team, not named Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They don't have a ton of flexibility because they gave all their draft picks to Oklahoma City, but they will try to do some tinkering. It is a very sharp front office, and I would expect some changes there before next season. I just personally wouldn't expect that with Doc.
Yeah, well, that's really important what you said at the end there. Kawhi came here to play for Doc, and we'll see how this plays out moving forward. The Nuggets are moving forward as they face the top-seeded Lakers in the conference finals. Game 1 is Friday. Rachel Nichols live from the bubble.
That's what it takes to win championships. Defense like that, it sealed the game for us. It was a huge part of why we're winning. I've been saying it all year long, and I'll repeat it again.
It's championship-style defense, man. That's the stuff that we'll look back 10, 15 years from now and watch that play.
I came into the league as a defender, so it felt like an instinct, and it's a great game-winning block.
Great block, outstanding block. And Malika Andrews was at that game last night. She saw that block in person. She joins us live on SportsCenter right now. So, Malika, what was it like after the game ended?
Well, Ryan, you just heard some of the snippets of the excitement from the side of the Heat, the disappointment from the side of the Celtics. But in my walk-off interview with Jimmy Butler, he told me that that block right there, that was the reason that Bam is the heart and the soul, is what he told me, of this team. And that sentiment carried over. You heard Bam Adebayo. He's basically said, I was just doing my job. I came into this league as a defensive player, even though Eric Spoelstra told me that at times he sees Bam working out with other groups, with a group of guards, so that he can absorb those skills as well. Bam was just saying, I was doing my job. It was everyone around him who was thoroughly impressed, including Magic Johnson, who said that was one of the best defensive plays that he had ever seen in the playoffs. And that carried into today a little bit at practice. Eric Spoelstra said that he knows Bam is young, but he thinks his maturity, that play being emblematic of that maturity, makes up for the fact that he's just 23 years old. And that sort of defense is what the Heat is built on. And they hope to emulate that in other moments, but they also don't want it to come down to the very last shot like it did in Game 1.
Well, 23 years old and making plays like that. Now, the Celtics let the Heat get back in the game, up 14 in the fourth. How's Boston using Game 1 as a lesson for the rest of the series?
Well, really, Game 1 of this series was a microcosm, Ryan, of some of the struggles that the Celtics have had in the playoffs thus far. And I'm looking at last series. Jason Tatum said coming into this series, what they had learned from the Raptors was the importance of closing out games, because they were battle-tested in that series. They lost a game at the last minute with a buzzer beater from OG Anunoby. They lost another game in double overtime. And so they were coming into this game with a focus on needing to close out, and they didn't do that. So that was reiterated to them today. And Brad Stevens said that he thought that being stagnant on offense led to some a little bit of sloppy transition defense. And so that's what they're focused on for tomorrow's game.
Okay, let's see if they can get it together for Game 2. That's tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN. Thanks, Malika.
Do it.
1-0 Rams, 0-1 Eagles. 2016, we said #1 pick, Jared Goff. well protected in week 1 against Dallas. Rams posted the 8th best pass block win rate in the league. Goff took advantage by averaging 10.6 yards per attempt when not under pressure. 3rd best in the NFL. Yeah, if you can get a clean pocket, Kenny, I can throw that thing. Rams offense, not all about Goff. Really, if it's going to be great, it can't be. Rams at the second high.